Hello to all astrology lovers. In this video, we will talk about the full moon in Taurus, which will take place on November 15th, 2024. At 11:28 p.m., we will experience a full moon in Taurus at 24 degrees. This full moon, of course, has its own features. One of them is the presence of retrograde. Uranus in Taurus, just 1 degree away from the moon, and Uranus is at 26 degrees. Additionally, at the moment of the full moon, the sky presents a rather ambiguous picture. Some interesting aspects, but let's go through everything in order. First, let me remind you what a full moon is. Of course, this is a quite powerful astrological event when the moon is in opposition to the sun and reaches its full phase, symbolizing a certain culmination, completion, and the release of accumulated energies over a certain period of time. On the level of our lives, this is a time when we can gain sudden clarity about situations, uncover hidden aspects of life, experience internal revelations, or heightened emotions. The full moon is always a rather emotional event for us, and often the full moon reveals what previously seemed unnoticed, what remained unnoticed. Of course, it can push us towards certain decisions that pertain to both personal and professional spheres, to the completion of various projects, to the end of relationships that no longer serve our tasks, our life goals. And of course, during this time, certain tension may increase, emotions may intensify, conflicts may arise, and there may be a need to reassess some of our internal beliefs, intentions, and desires. Moreover, the energy of the full moon emphasizes the balance of the spheres of life, which are defined by the houses of the horoscope and the zodiac signs. It is the full moon that demands from us the harmonization of a certain sphere of life, to make a choice between something and something, to harmonize, for example, personal life and career, or one's own needs and the needs of those around. And in order to work with the energies of the full moon, to ground these energies, it is very important to be in a conscious state and to consciously control one's emotional reactions. Because, I remind you, the moon is primarily our subconscious. And here the subconscious can give us impulsive actions, impulsive reactions. And of course, we need to find balance during this period between what needs to be let go of and what needs to be completed or transformed. Of course, various practices such as meditation, practices of gratitude, and letting go of everything old and unnecessary are very helpful during this period. Cleansing the space, reviewing and choosing priorities in one's goals and desires in life. So all of this indeed allows us to ground the energy of the full moon and gain clarity. Now let's discuss the influence of the zodiac sign on this full moon, and it is in Taurus. Of course, the zodiac sign imposes its filter on the energies of this astrological event, and the full moon in Taurus emphasizes themes of stability, comfort, material abundance in our lives, and inner peace. Taurus is an earth sign. It symbolizes stability, resources, and values, and the full moon here raises questions related specifically to financial well-being, a sense of security, and harmony in everyday life. So this is a period when we can indeed identify our true needs for stability and security. This is a period when we can identify some material and emotional attachments that need to be released, eradicated, which hinder our development. Of course, the influence of Taurus makes the energies of the full moon quite slow, but very powerful, capable of creating situations that require our patience and our rational approach. And here, questions may arise related to financial investments, real estate, and caring for our body, because the body is also physical and tangible. Or there arises a need to create a comfortable and cozy space where we live. And of course, the emotions that the full moon raises are related to the feeling of comfort and stability. We may feel the need to get rid of what hinders us from realizing this in life. The symbolic Taurus is our second house of the horoscope. And of course, it's all about finances, about resources, both financial and personal resources. It's about material goods and values. It's about the relationship with the material world. It's the ability to earn and manage money. The desire for comfort and security. And by the way, the second house is also responsible for our self-esteem, our value that we carry. In this world, it includes skills, abilities, and certain inner qualities. And all of this is activated by the full moon in Taurus, these themes. Nevertheless, we also have the ruler of this full moon, which is Venus. And Venus is the planet of love, the planet of harmony, beauty, pleasure, and material values in our lives. It governs how we express our feelings, how we form our attachments, how we seek and find joy in life, revealing our tastes, aesthetics, and attitude towards comfort. It is responsible for how we interact in personal relationships or in business relationships. Moreover, naturally, it is about money, it is about financial preferences, it is about the way to enjoy life's pleasures, sometimes even questions of luxury, art, and beauty. All of this is Venus, and Venus is currently transiting through an earth sign as well. This is the capstone and activates themes and energies of stability, maturity, and responsibility, especially in the realm of personal relationships and values. During this period, qualities such as seriousness, devotion, and a certain level of structure are emphasized, and all of this manifests specifically in romantic relationships, business, or friendly connections. Venus in Capricorn strives for reliability and security. And during this period, we may particularly reflect on the durability and long-term nature of our relationships or financial investments. When Venus is transiting through the zodiac sign of Capricorn, of course, values shift towards pragmatism and quality. Our material expenditures become more thoughtful and focused on acquiring more sustainable and useful items. In relationships, for example, there may be a transition to a more serious level, or a complete ending of relationships that do not satisfy us. Here, the question is about establishing clear boundaries and clear expectations. Capricorn is generally associated with career and social status. Venus here can additionally stimulate the desire to achieve success, specifically in professional activities, to create a strong reputation, to build harmonious business connections. Now let's consider the symbolism of the degrees of Taurus, where this full moon occurs. The 24th degree of Taurus is a symbol and image represented as a fiercely galloping Indian warrior who has human scalps on his belt. Quite an interesting picture. And the interpretation of this symbol is that we manifest some aggression of our instincts when we fight for some earthly basis of action, for a physical and tangible manifestation of something in our lives. And in mythology in early America, the Indian represents a savage who is closely connected to nature, lives with nature, and remains somewhat subject to, guided by primal human instincts. And in the present time, sometimes the manifestation of these instincts can occur and lead to some violence. That is, some of our awareness may be turned off here, and only instincts and the symbol are at work. Implies a certain cruelty and aggressiveness as the basis of human nature at the level of emotions, at the level of a certain culture. That is, this degree demonstrates to us that even in our modern civilized time, we can believe that instincts and attachments defined in our culture can generate some violence, conflict, and we can deeply and emotionally believe that violence is capable of protecting our values and our identity. This demonstrates the 24th degree to us. But if we return to the new moon in Taurus in May 2024, it occurred at the 18th degree of the sign, and the symbol of this degree presents to us a vivid image of a woman who hangs her old bag out of the open window of her room. such a very vivid picture. And here the key to decoding is that one essentially needs to truly purify their ego consciousness. That is, considering that the symbol presents us with a woman, it emphasizes this bag and the need to cleanse one's consciousness, to free one's mind from old attachments, from certain illusions. That is, this cleansing perception creates space for a deeper and higher level of awareness in our development, our inner harmony, allowing us to go beyond some of our limitations and achieve new spiritual growth. Thus, we can observe the tendency of our development through certain experiences. And by the way, I remind you that to understand in which area of life this is happening, you need to know in which house of the horoscope your full moon in Taurus occurs. So if we combine the information of these degrees, we can see a very deep connection between the cleansing of the inner world and our struggle for survival and cultural differences. Here, the importance of working with internal conflicts and internal limitations is emphasized, the necessity of cleansing, the necessity of transforming our perception. And here it is necessary to come to the realization and liberation from selfish attachments in order to avoid destructive manifestations of our aggression and violence in relationships, and instead reach a level of harmony and balance in any interactions. This is the very balance I mentioned at the beginning, how the full moon works as an astrological aspect of our lives and harmonizes a specific area of life. Keep in mind that the waning moon will be effective until December 1st, 2024, and some concluding processes will unfold during these 2 weeks, when we will need to either finish something or achieve a result to see the outcome. We look again at the houses of the horoscope where the full moon occurs. We close the period from May 8th to November 15th, 2024. November 15th, 2024. By the way, if you made any notes of plans, intentions, tasks, or goals during the new moon in Taurus on May 8th, now is the time to return to those notes and compare what you have managed to achieve. Now let's take a look at some key aspects in the sky that are active at the time of the full moon, aside from the transit of Venus. So the first thing I mentioned is retrograde Uranus in Taurus, a direct participant in this full moon with a 1-degree difference. It adds elements of surprise, change, and some internal upheavals to this event. Uranus is the planet of revolution, the planet of innovation, and in its retrograde phase, it directs its energy inward. It makes us reconsider our old beliefs, ideas, and approaches. And when Uranus is also in Taurus, it touches upon, of course, the themes of material values, security, and familiar structures. Retrograde pushes us towards a deeper analysis and evaluation of these aspects. The full moon in Taurus is a culmination in matters of the material world, values, and stability. It is related to the completion of cycles where it is necessary to put some outdated beliefs and approaches regarding finances, resources, and comfort to rest. This process of transformation becomes more internal, more conscious, simply because Uranus is retrograde. And of course, it can provoke unexpected discoveries, insights, and revelations about our own attachments to the material, about how these attachments limit our personal growth and our freedom. And the main influence of the aspect will manifest in that we may face the necessity of some changes in our financial stability, in our relationship to property and to security. Moreover, indeed, there can be very sharp, unexpected changes here. They may be unpleasant in the moment, and we may not be ready for them. Over time, we understand and realize that they work in our favor. Another participant in this astrological event is the star Algol, and let's take a look at its characteristics. By the way, it is located 1 degree away from Uranus. In ancient Greek mythology, it is often represented and known as the head of a demon or the devil's star. Quite a creepy sound, nevertheless. This star is associated with dark and dangerous energies. and it certainly has special significance in both mythology and astrology. It is Algol that is associated with the myth of Medusa Gorgon, because it is located in the constellation Perseus, where the head of Medusa is, and the myths state that Perseus fought with Medusa and cut off her head, which then became a source of death for those who looked at it. And Algol symbolizes these destructive forces. They are associated with violence, death, and demonic forces. In turn, in astrology, Algol is attributed with a strong influence related to pronounced negative traits. That is, it is a star of violence, fear, destruction, and great personal trials. And there can be moments when we face crises, especially regarding issues of power, control, cruelty, and violence. At the same time, Algol can provide us with powerful transformations precisely through these crises, through insights, and allows us to free ourselves from the past. That is, gives us the opportunity to be reborn. The energy of this star represents certain extremes. That is, as I said, it is about destruction, about death, but also about purification through struggle and transformation. It is Algol that serves as a catalyst for personal crises. When we confront those parts of ourselves that we would prefer to ignore, Algol symbolizes forces that can manifest through aggression, influence, manipulation, and cruelty. And if we approach this consciously, then at some point these forces can be transformed into something more powerful and aware. Naturally, to work through the energies of this star, it is essential to engage in acceptance, conscious acceptance of the dark aspects of one's life, one's sides, one's personality, using crises only for growth through any means, therapy, self-discovery, various activities that allow one to free themselves from old traumas, and, of course, acceptance of power. That is, Algol is connected to the theme of power and authority. Here it is important to learn to use these qualities constructively rather than destructively. In the comments, be sure to share how this aspect with Uranus and Algol plays out for you in relation to the moon during the full moon in Taurus. We'll also be very interested to see how it manifests in your life. Another aspect that is important to consider at the moment of the full moon is that the moon is in a trine with Pluto, which will soon transition completely into Aquarius just 4 days after the full moon. And this trine activates very deep processes of transformation in our emotional sphere, providing a very powerful influence on stability and the inner resources of each of us. The aspect contributes to such a deep transformation of personal values, emotional attachments, and feelings of security. And all of this may manifest through the need to reconsider what brings us stability and comfort. And of course, this will bring certain changes in our material and emotional aspects. The trine of Pluto with the moon helps us work through old emotional traumas and fears, opening the way to healthier and more constructive experiences in our lives. This is a time when we can radically change our approach to our own emotions. We can learn to let go of old attachments and strengthen ourselves from within, our inner resources. In personal relationships, especially in family or close connections, there may arise a desire to understand each other more deeply and uncover some hidden emotional needs. And all of this will, of course, contribute to the harmonization of relationships over time through awareness and gradual personal growth. At the same time, the Sun is in Scorpio and is in a trine with retrograde Neptune in Pisces during the full moon. This aspect activates strong intuitive creative flows. It promotes our deep inner experiences and processes of self-discovery. That is, the aspect enhances the ability to perceive hidden truths, to intuitively understand and penetrate some mystical aspects of our lives. The influence of Neptune, of course, can blur the boundaries of reality, leading us to seek in the spiritual realm. And the Sun in Scorpio emphasizes hidden motives and the transformations of our personal power. Retrograde Neptune during this period can contribute to rethinking past misconceptions and ideals, giving us a chance to heal emotional wounds, get rid of internal illusions, and the aspect can also create situations where we turn more and more to our creative side. We are more cleansing ourselves of old energetic blocks. In relationships, by the way, there may be moments deeper understanding of each other on an intuitive level. And here it is crucial to avoid idealization and endowing the partner with unrealistic expectations. Another significant aspect is at the moment of the full moon. This aspect is related to Venus, the ruler of this full moon, which is in a T-square to both karmic nodes. The disharmonious aspect, however, contains a strong potential, creating a tense dynamic aimed at rethinking personal relationships, values, and the balance between personal independence and partnership. Venus in Capricorn focuses attention on serious pragmatic relationships, on the material aspects of love, and may make us think about the stability of our connections and their long-term nature. Nevertheless, the square with the nodes forces us to pay attention to the lessons related to our individuality and harmony in relationships with others. Conflicts may arise here between personal independence and the need for compromises with partners. During this period, situations may arise where one must choose between following personal interests and the desire to maintain independence or preserving balance and harmony in relationships. The T-square stimulates the need for growth and taking responsibility for one's feelings and actions. It encourages us to make active changes in personal relationships and provides a radical overhaul of our approach to love and partnership. Therefore, it is important to capture these energies, learn to balance personal ambitions with the needs of others, and avoid excessive compromises that may suppress our personal freedom. Now let's consider the effects of the full moon in Taurus for each of the 12 zodiac signs, how it will manifest in your life, and in which areas and directions to look, what to complete, where we will see clarity and culmination. Dear Sagittarius, the full moon in Taurus is in your 6th house of the horoscope and primarily activates themes of health and physical condition for you, as the 6th house is associated with daily work, health, hygiene, habits, and practical aspects of life. And the full moon in Taurus activates themes related specifically to your physical strength and health condition. This may be a time when you can summarize some wellness program you have been following for the past 6 months, or perhaps the results of a diet or sports activity, and now you will see the results for your body. Additionally, the full moon here may signal the need to complete certain things, to get rid of some harmful habits, and to start, for example, a new course for improving health and well-being. Moreover, the theme of work and daily routine will definitely become relevant for you during this full moon. This is also related to relationships with subordinates and superiors. With everyday work processes, perhaps something needs to be updated or optimized. Here, the theme of the need for material stability will be relevant for you, especially in the context of work. Perhaps you need to evaluate your financial habits or reconsider professional strategies. These are related to financial contracts, income, and projects. Additionally, the theme of serving others, caring, and helping others is activated in the 6th house. Perhaps you will complete a project in this direction now. To work through the energies of this full moon, be sure to pay attention to completing health-related processes, whether it's eliminating unhealthy eating or activating physical activity or eliminating and reducing stress. This can be done through exercise, meditation, or nutrition. It is important to pay attention to reviewing your work processes and optimizing them. It is important to engage in financial planning for yourself and pay attention to rest, according to the 6th house of the horoscope, to restore energy potential. And if you are helping others, it is important to maintain balance and pay attention to yourself as well. In any case, I wish you success. Subscribe, like, and share.